Good evening, Wellness Way culture. It's Wednesday night, and I am excited to just bring some fun and exciting just testimonies and kind of a hodgepodge of stuff that I kind of get fired up about during the week. And just lots of exciting things always taking place within the Wellness Way, and looking forward to kind of sharing with you guys just some really exciting stuff that's going to be coming up. Don't want to let any cats out of the bag just yet. But hey, Brianna, good to see you on here as usual. Always appreciate your support. But tonight, again, for those of you who are on here regular, you really may feel like I'm just beating a dead horse. But I'm going to keep preaching this message until everybody gets it, because every day I find out how many people still don't just get this topic right here. What is health? We talk about it at our inflammation seminar. If you've been there, great. If you're getting this again for maybe the 5th time, awesome, because I think they say you got to hear something like 21 times before maybe it sinks in, or maybe that's you got to do something 21 times before it becomes a habit. But I hope to just maybe set some things straight tonight when it comes to health. Many of us don't even know how to, find it. We don't know what it is. We all have different definitions of it. And what I want to show you tonight is that it really isn't anything that you're going to go out and pursue. It's not anything special you're going to put into your body. Hey, Rachel from Florida. Awesome. Good to see you on here. And the reason that this is such an issue, not only in the United States, but all across the world, is because we really can't define, what the word health is. So, if you've been to the seminar, let me go through a few things. So many of you may be able to even answer these questions already. So most of us, how do we know? Because we've been conditioned to believe that these 3 common things lead to health. And I bet you if I waited long enough, many of you'd be able to figure this out. But let's just kind of get to the point. So most of you think if you just eat right, that's going to make you healthy. And this one really kind of makes me laugh, and it really kind of makes me cry all at the same time, because so many of you on here and that will be watching, or even within our practice still, are on the search for the magic way to eat. And what makes the Wellness Way unique in our approach and application? It's all about the testing. It makes way more sense to know what's functionally good for your body than to just keep guessing through all the different methods that are out there. You got the keto, you got the paleo, you got the Krispy Kreme, all these different ways in which a person can eat and think that they are being healthy. But, most of you know that just because you go and start eating fruit and you start eating vegetables and you avoid dairy and you avoid bread doesn't necessarily going to mean you're going to get the results that you're looking for, nor is it really letting you know whether or not you're functionally working right. Hey, Diane, good to see you on here. The other thing that most people confuse health with is exercise. So just because you get up and move, go run a half marathon, train for any of the, your local runs, awesome. I'm glad you got through it. But just because you did that doesn't mean you've created health in your body. Many times, what are some of the commercials saying when it comes to exercise? Hey, be sure to consult with your doctor before starting an exercise program. Well, believe it or not, that's actually very good advice from the medical community. You should consult with a doctor before you go exercise. Now, I'm going to be a little more specific. I think you need to go consult with a chiropractor, who better to know movement and movement exercises, look at the neurology, because your structure is so vital to proper performance and proper effectiveness when you're training. So part of our evaluation when we're looking at posture is looking at hip levels, looking at leg lengths, looking at shoulder imbalance. If all those things are present, all that's going to do is accelerate the speed at which you degenerate. So if you go into an exercise program not knowing the condition of your spine, not knowing whether your legs are level, knowing whether your hips are level, all of that could be very detrimental to your body as you go forth exercising, thinking that just exercising is going to produce health in your body. And third, everyone thinks that sleep will magically make you healthy. Well, yes, it's very important. And yes, many of the clients that we even take care of that are only under chiropractic care still get crappy sleep. So you have to put it all together and figure out why is a person maybe not sleeping well, and why would the food that they eat not be really producing the results or the health that they're after, and why is exercise for some people causing more problems than it is really creating proper function. So as we get into this, you guys are going to see, I'm not going to share this video with you right now, but I'm going to take us back to really what is the definition of health. And you may not be able to read it very good, but all Wellness Way docs will agree this is probably one of the best definitions of health, and that is a condition of wholeness to which all of the organs, okay, I'll repeat that, all of the organs are functioning 100% of the time. So, the sad part is I hate reading that definition personally because I can't do that. I've had my tonsils removed, and so I'm out, of 100% functionality all the time. I'm going to have to just do the best I can with what I have left and make sure that it's always functioning the best that I can. If you've had multiple things cut out and cut on, it's very difficult to pursue the true definition of health. So I'm more concerned with, even if you don't have everything, how's everything functioning in your body versus how's everything feeling in your body? Because there's a lot of people that come in and pursue, the services that we offer, and they say, look, doc, I'm fine. I really feel pretty good. Was that Annie, our favorite F word? Function, that's right. I like that. That gets attention. So people come in and they're like, I feel fine, so I'm really not sure why I'm even here. Well, have you ever been tested to know whether or not you're fine or not, or whether you're functioning well? And most of the time the answer is no. We haven't done anything to know whether or not we're functioning well. So one of the things I see a lot is when it comes to sleep, so let's just go back to our little handy dandy triangle, the triune of life. So when it comes to sleep, people are always asking me, Doc, what's your favorite pillow? What's your favorite bed? And, what do I recommend? Honestly, if you've never been adjusted, you've never been tested, don't even bother spending the money on a mattress yet, because I can't tell you how many times I've adjusted clients and the bed they just got that felt so comfortable now totally sucks and is uncomfortable to them after we work on them, because we've literally changed their structure and got more stress out of their body, and now curves are being restored, they're laying flatter. Now what they thought worked for them doesn't work for them. And people have spent hundreds and thousands of dollars on pillows trying to find the right one. Well, if you don't know the overall health of your spine, whether you've got maybe a military neck, too much of a curve, all of those things play a role in maybe how things may or may not be comfortable for you. Honestly, me personally, I love the medium thick down pillow from IKEA. I think it's called the Jordrak pillow. I love it. It's $20. I buy a new one every year, and you can wash them, fluff them, and I get the best sleep I've ever had on these things. So the most expensive doesn't always mean when it comes to pillows and beds that you're going to find the best thing. So there's my little 2 cents on pillows and beds. Before buying it, get adjusted, get tested, and get rid of inflammation, because all of those play a huge role in how your body's going to function and even sleep. That's a huge one. While we're on the topic again of sleep, if you're having trouble sleeping, more often than not, either there's still something spine-wise that could be addressed, there still may be some inflammatory things going on in your body, and particularly the gut. You've got to look at the gut. When we understand where all of your neurotransmitters are being created, made, converted, so much of that, 90% of those things are going to be made in the gut. So if their gut's jacked up, it's going to be very difficult to sleep. So ultimately, the real question should be, what does it mean to have function? Honestly, I don't even like the word health anymore. I don't even like to talk about healthy food, because again, what may be good for me is not necessarily going to be good for you. Today we had a lady that came in and was allergic to tuna, allergic to beef. She was allergic to cauliflower, watermelon, cantaloupe. I mean, you name it. There were some big ones on this lady's list. But, you know, at the same time, there was this huge aha, like, no wonder my gut is such a wreck. And the crazy thing was, you know, we kind of put off getting her tested because she'd been on some steroids for a while. And I was a little worried about the suppression taking place on the immune system, that we wouldn't have gotten some good results. Well, she still tested for 20 foods. And even before that, the last 2 weeks, we've been just working on her gut health. We got her stool test back, had some yeast overgrowth. We're just doing some basics of the betaine, some Albizia, getting some aloe in there, and completely got her off sugar. And she said she literally broke down crying, talking with my wife today on their nutritional counseling, that she just couldn't believe how much better she felt in the last 2 weeks, that when she laid down in bed to go to sleep, she actually laid down flat and didn't see a big bulge in her stomach. She said, "Now don't get me wrong, there's still fat I need to lose here, but I laid flat, I wasn't uncomfortable." So it's pretty fun to see all these cool changes taking place on a day-to-day basis, because people are taking a different approach to health, and it's, I should say, a different approach to function, and that is the Wellness Way approach. So it's not just the magical herbs we've got, because ultimately, what we're understanding and trying to help you guys understand, it's not about so much what's always going in, it's about what's coming out from within. So the more you guys can stop putting in toxins, the more innately that inborn wisdom is going to do its job. So I don't need to, you know, take a magic herb per se to wake up my innate wisdom of the body to do what it needs to do. It just knows that when you remove a stressor, it's going to move back towards homeostasis and normal. You guys can go back on previous videos and see what I talked about when we were talking about normal state of health versus a dysfunctional state versus a disease state. Hey Brenda, good to see you on here tonight. So you guys definitely participate in going back to the videos and just build upon them. We're always putting out content to just help educate and change the way we've been conditioned to think about health, because there really isn't anything magical about what we put in us. Because trust me, if I ate cauliflower every day, I would be making myself inflamed and sick, because I'm allergic to cauliflower. But don't get me wrong, I'm not allergic to kale, and I've been eating kale chips all week, organic kale chips, thanks to Dr. Flynn and his lovely, I call them long tips on Saturdays regarding his favorite vegetable, more for clinical reasons. So one of the great ways for men to boost your testosterone, get high amounts of vitamin A. If you're dealing with, you know, maybe some acne and you've already been tested, great thing to do. So the other thing I wanted to kind of talk about, and for you guys that follow us and are clients, number one, here's my disclaimer. Don't ever take anything personal. I just can't help it that you guys give me great material to use when it comes to health topics, functional topics. Because again, many of us get so conditioned in what we do, and that we just don't really step back and think, okay, how did I even get sick to begin with? And so on the topic of soda, you guys, if you haven't figured out how bad soda is, Google it and do a little more research. It's one of the worst things out there you could be doing to your body. Literally, it's on the same playing field as smoking cigarettes when it comes to the oxidative stress and aging things that it does to our body. It will accelerate aging in your body at the same rate at which smoking will. And so one of the quotes you'll hear among many of us Wellness Way docs is, you cannot get healthy in the same environment that made you sick. And so if you're drinking soda every day, I can tell you, you're not going to see good functional improvement in your body. Number one, it's going to just completely destroy and disrupt your stomach health. I had a lady in this week that was just commonly complaining of heartburn, and she's literally drinking 2, 3 to 5 sodas a day. Most of the people that are drinking that many sodas a day are definitely not struggling with underweight. It's usually an overweight problem. So it's really hard to not be frustrated when chatting with some of you guys, when you're asking for help, yet you're not willing to give up the very junk that's totally making you sick. And soda's just one of them. And the other thing is you guys have heard me preach this before. This would be interesting. If whoever's on there, I can see some of you. How much do you think the average average family spends on soda in a year? I'll wait just a few seconds, drink some of my organic coffee for tonight. So throw some numbers out there, you guys. How much does the average family of 4 spend on soda per year? Looks like there's 4 or 5 on you on there. Come on, don't be shy. Brenda, I bet you can throw a good number out there, especially with all the exercise stuff you've been doing. Ooh, Rachel, that's a pretty good guess. You're close. Pam, okay, split the difference almost. So about $1,500 a year the average family is spending on soda. You guys, that's crazy. $1,500. Imagine if you took that money and put that towards actual testing that would give you information about where you stand functionally. I did a little bit more research too. So when it comes to just other procedures, now many of you know we're a cash office. We don't deal with any insurance whatsoever because I want to stay out of that industry because they're the reason we have so many problems for gouging and just skyrocketing treatments for people. So most of you have kids, and when it comes to just how we look, what's one of the things that as parents and even as kids we're very self-conscious of? Our smile. We want to have good teeth. So it's not unusual for many of you to drop literally $4,000 to $8,000 on braces. Trust me, I know. I could own another vehicle right now on the 3 I just paid for. So I totally get. Let's see. Wow, sorry, I listened with kids. I couldn't type. No worries. I get that too, Brenda. So we're going to spend anywhere from, again, $5,000 to $8,000 on braces to straighten out your teeth. And that's just a given. Most families just think that's just what you got to do, but they hardly ever think about, setting aside, that same amount of money for testing, for chiropractic care. Instead, what do many of us do? We just wait and wait and wait till all of a sudden we wake up one day and we've got a crick in our neck, we've got a massive migraine. All of a sudden we look back, if you're a female and you're like, crap, I haven't had a period in 4 months. You go to your doctor for your wellness visit and they do some testing of disease and find you've got breast or uterine cancer. And I would be willing to bet that even despite that, they've never tested any of your hormones. So again, it always comes back to just changing the way we think about health and be a little more proactive. I think $5,000 to straighten some teeth, my gosh, $5,000 would last an adult probably about 3 years of care in my office. You throw in a little testing there, you'll really go a long way. So, so it's hard, from my perspective, when many of us are still drinking sodas, still eating fast foods and all these other things that are literally making you sick. And then the excuse is, well, I don't have enough money. Well, if you stop drinking soda, you can free up, anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a year. For some, it might be smoking, so you're going to probably, spend $3,000 to $4,000 a year on killing yourself. So I could go on and on and on. The other one I looked up was lithotripsy for kidney stones. Very, very common thing that we're seeing today, but it's not normal, you guys. To get kidney stones is a sign of dysfunction within the kidney and the whole urine system, the bladder, and how your body's dealing with nutrients. So let's say you don't have insurance and you are conditioned to live life like many, and you wait till all of a sudden there's a tearing and ripping and blood coming out, and the next time you go pee, holy crap, I've got kidney stones, I got to go do something. Well, you're going to drop about $7,000 to $15,000 out of pocket to pay for that procedure cash. All right. So I'm going to tweak your brain a little bit and say, let's look at this a little differently. What if, let's back the train up 5, 10, 15 years if you thought, I want to make sure, am I functioning the right way? What's showing up maybe in my urine? Get that tested. What's my blood look like? How's my glomerular filtration rate going with my kidneys? What's inflammation like in my body? Let's look at food testing. So if you begin to invest in those things ahead of time and you keep those systems working normally, now you're going to spend maybe half of the cost of a lithotripsy to get those kidney stones out, and you're going to go a lot farther. You're going to be more in line with preventing or less likely to occur when you've begun to take steps that will avoid inflammation. And the other big one we see, heart disease, heart attacks and bypass. Unfortunately, in this day and age, there are still people that, they don't have insurance, or they only have major medical with high deductibles. So, I looked up triple and quadruple bypass. Most of those are going to be $80,000 to $120,000, you guys. Most people, they don't have that laying around to go, hey, you know what, I'm all plugged up. Here's 120 grand. Go ahead and clean me out. Take a couple of veins from my legs and put them up in my heart. We'll call it good. No, you guys, let's change the way we think, and let's back up and start doing some things that are going to prevent the likelihood of those arteries getting clogged up by getting rid of inflammation. Even with a high deductible, some of you are going to pay $10,000 to have a very invasive procedure done. So, hopefully these are just some things that will get you guys thinking a little bit differently and being a little more proactive. So, had kidney stones 3 times since I was 17. Woo! You are correct. So, Brenda, maybe it's time to get some testing done. Our next seminar for the inflammation is the second Thursday of January. So we'd love to have you come and check that out, as well as anybody else. Kidney stones are not fun. Every female that's ever had them, I know, says it was worse than giving birth. I've seen 4 births, but I've never given birth. So I can't even imagine what it would be like to pass a kidney stone. So I'm taking every effort to make sure that does not happen. So lots of water, no soda, very little, tea. And if you're going to be drinking things like caffeinated tea, coffees, definitely go organic. Coffee beans are some of the most sprayed plants, things that are out there, you guys. So, Tanya, it's fun. No, it's not. I know it's not fun. So, since you guys are very interactive tonight, throw some topics out there for me. I probably won't hit them tonight. Going to be out of the office for the next couple of days. So we'd love to just get some ideas from you guys, maybe topics you want to hear. So tonight was more, again, just some conglomeration of just some great cases that have come into the office, topics that are top of mind awareness for me. And again, I never want to poke fun at you guys, but you do give me some really, really good topics to talk about. So soda's always going to be the one, because I've been there. I used to drink it, and now I can't hardly stand the stuff. It's just way too sweet, and I don't want to accelerate the aging process in my body. So I am going to sign off for tonight. Appreciate you guys interacting tonight. I love it. It makes it way fun being on these live videos when you interact. Got some new faces on there tonight, so that's cool. So if you like the video, share it, get it out to your friends. You guys, I'm telling you, stay in tune with what we're doing, because Wellness Way is taking the United States by storm, and we are going to really have some cool stuff to announce here coming up. So stay tuned and make it a great week, and we will finish up next week with a little Christmas cheer. So talk to you later.